Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Uncle Chuck's podcast, a podcast created just to talk, basically. Invite a couple of friends over, legendary friends over, friends that have been in the industry for several years. So when I bring them over, I'm also learning. Apart from them entertaining us, I'm also learning from them. And then, of course, this week I'm with two of the biggest radio personalities and slash DJs that have graced Zimbabwe over the years. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my guest for this week, let me do the introduction again. I've got two legendary radio personalities and slash DJs that have been in the industry for so long. When I was still in high school, I looked up to these guys. I'm actually privileged to have them here in my office, my little man cave right now. I've got Tony Friday, and I've got Kimble Rogers. Guys, welcome to the Uncle Chuck's podcast.
Thank you for the invitation. We are privileged to be here.
It's sounding modest.
I'm excited to be here, Uncle Chuck's.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask about the uncle later, but let's get into the business of the day.
I'm old now, you know what I'm saying? Older now.
Yes,
I got
Uncle Chuck's.
I got gray hair just like Kimble. Kimble's got a lot.
I also have grey hair coming out.
No, we don't see anything there.
Oh.
I encouraged my grayness with a little bit of bleach as well. I was trying things.
All right. This is a continuation from the previous podcast interview that I had with DJ Storm. I think DJ Storm is also from your guys' era.
Yeah,
From
definitely.
the era. Although he didn't do much of radio, he was more on the
Or
DJ side.
on the DJing side, yeah.
So I think the information that I would want to extract from you guys and share with the rest of the nation is how has the industry changed from when you guys were still very active in it. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're not active, but there was a time when you guys are really, really active in the industry. And now you're still in the industry, but I'm not saying that you're now old and you can't keep up with the youngsters.
You can say that. It's
I
fine.
can, okay. You're now old, you can't keep up with the youngsters. Yeah, but I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. I mean, things have changed a bit. Has it changed for the better, or what's going on?
I submit I wouldn't use the word changed.
Okay.
I would use the word evolved. The thing is, when it comes to music and the generations and the social narrative that youngsters have, values, perspectives, opinions are all expressed in the music of the day. And just depending on how youngsters are affected socio-economically as well as religiously and their social values, that is what is now presented in music today. I mean, for instance, there was a point in time when music carried a specific type of a message, and the narrative was pretty tame to how it is today, because now with the permissiveness and the amount of permission people give themselves to express themselves the way they want to, a lot of profanity is in the music. And not only profanity, but the sexuality and the energy of the youngsters that enjoy today's music is a lot more explicit than it used to be. So I would say evolved, because there was a sexual revolution in music when it came to the rock music of the 70s, and people always have been pushing boundaries when it comes to their self-expression. And today we see it now, and with the amount of BBLs that there is, when it comes to the LGBTQ plus trans HDMI PS5 generation that is out there. Things are a lot more untidy than they used to be. That's my opinion. So I would say evolved. It's an evolution. Where we are going, dude, hell, I have no idea. But it's exciting, and it's nice to be a part of it. So this is why I corrected you earlier in that we are just older. We are not old, because when it comes to our connection with music, we are timeless in some regard. We are timeless. And we can keep up with the youngsters. It's just that the youngsters don't give us the time to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Tony?
The game is not the same.
Okay.
It has, there's a lot has changed over the years. I remember when I was coming up, I got into DJing. I was introduced to DJing when I was around 10.
Okay.
I grew up in Highfields in Western Triangle. I was taught to DJ on vinyls. it was a lot harder back then to get into the industry than it is now, which has been good and bad, depending on how you look at it. From there, we evolved from using turntables and cassettes to, CD players and all of that.
Do you know that these kids nowadays don't know how a cassette looks like?
Yeah, I can believe that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I can believe that.
TDK, Maxwell,
TDK,
Sony.
my favorite.
What was the other brand?
I actually started DJing on cassettes, because there wasn't sufficient music available on vinyl at the time.
Okay.
So a lot of the radio DJs would have imports because even they didn't rely on the local record production industry. So a lot of guys would have imports and we would have tape recorders at home. And I became quite the aficionado in creating extended versions of songs from what was played on radio.
Okay.
I made my own 12-inch versions of songs that I would record off radio just by using the pause button and making extended versions and playing at house parties. And that's how my popularity grew.
All right.
So far to the extent that one of the monikers and one of the nicknames that I had gotten then was DJ TDK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
DJ TDK. So, as I was saying, it was a lot harder to first and foremost to become a DJ because music wasn't as accessible as it is now.
Okay.
You would have to have a significant amount of records for you to be even recognized as a DJ.
Okay.
And you wouldn't just randomly call a person a DJ. You had to prove your salt as a DJ.
Okay.
There were no sync buttons. There was nothing of that sort. We moved into the CD era. And still music was, relatively difficult to find. We didn't have the internet back in the day.
Okay.
There was no downloading music anywhere. Contrast that to 2025 where anyone, like literally anybody.
With the internet.
And a laptop and a DJ controller,
even a
will
smartphone,
call themselves a DJ, But I think that DJs are DJs first and foremost at heart. You had to have a passion for music and a passion for sharing your music with the people. That's what made you become a DJ in the first place. But now people are inspired by social media. They, see you doing your thing and they think, oh my gosh, that must be really cool. And then they wake up tomorrow and I'm DJ so and so, and with a couple of friends following them on social media, boom, you have a DJ. So it has evolved. A lot has changed, which is also one of the reasons why we have sort of like stepped back a little bit because it's just too congested with so many people calling themselves DJs, and it's a lot harder to stand out from the noise.
Isn't one of the reasons, sorry to cut you off, isn't one of the reasons why it's so flooded is also the reason why club owners are always looking for the cheapest DJ.
And you can't blame them for that. But then what it also does is that it also kills the art.
Of course.
It kills the art. You would have to cross over to SA to really experience what a DJ is supposed to look like and to be paid accordingly. It's something that we haven't really had in Zimbabwe. So personally, I've taken a couple of steps back it's just not worth it anymore. First and foremost, people don't want to pay you what you're worth.
Of course.
Because, we invest a lot of time and money and energy into gear, into improving your craft, which is why I mostly do. In fact, I only do old school gigs when I do them, which is like once in a while. And it has to be worth my time. It has to be worth my energy. So, yeah.
But back then, radio DJs, I wouldn't call it DJs. It was called radio presenters. Radio presenters became /DJs.
Yeah.
Because of your fame and your popularity on radio, clubs would call you, or private gigs and stuff would call you because you were popular and you were on radio. But now we don't have a lot of club DJs that are on radio. Yeah. We have like DJs, which is they just press records. But back then, I know when Kimble Rogers was on radio, if I was to go to the club later on, I would see Kimble Rogers, I would see Tony Friday. But you used the word evolved earlier on. Among sticks with evolved.
Yeah. I'd also contest a little bit that not only were we popular, but we were like the only advertised sort of individuals that would play the music that we would play. And as a result of that, you became a favorite.
Okay.
Because of your delivery of how people heard you on radio. If most DJs of today did have a slot on radio, they would also benefit from being called because of their style of delivery and just how technical they are when it comes to the music they play, the selections that they use, and how they perform. So this is where the advantage of how radio DJs were club DJs. Now that anybody with a laptop and a piece of software and even a smartphone with an app, which is a piece of software as well, can get to play music. I mean, like for instance, there are certain functions like at weddings and at parties that certain requests are made that the DJ may not have, and then somebody is plugging in their phone and you're playing the song off the phone in order to make the people happy. That individual who gave you their song from the Spotify playlist or whatever also feel themselves as
a DJ.
As a DJ,
I can do what it is that you are doing.
Yeah.
However, there's the technical aspect when it comes to keeping people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
The way you build up the energy. And this is a skill set that is only learned and curated by those who watch others who do it.
Of course.
As opposed to other guys who will have a folder full of piano songs or whatever is current or whatever is flavorhood in the neighborhood at the current time, call themselves a DJ. But you would be able to tell that from their delivery, it's not connecting with the crowd. We come from an era, and that could be spelled ERROR. We come from from an era, from a mistake that I don't know. In Tony's case, Tony will attest to this. I don't know what it is he heard that connected with him the way it connected with him for him to be as expressive similarly from how he had heard it. Because when you listen to mixed DJs, for instance, I'll give you an example. A lot of the radio DJs didn't mix.
Yeah.
The late Peter Johns is one of them. He was fantastic with his selection. He was fantastic with his voice.
Yes.
And that's what made him stand out the way he did. For the other mixed DJs, we never used to use a microphone. We just used to mix the records seamlessly and keep the people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Because people ordinarily would dance to one song and then go and retreat back to their seats, to their drinks, to have a little bit of a conversation, and then dance to another song further down the line.
Okay.
Now, with mixed DJs, when the song blends from one into the other, some people on the dance floor can hear that there's a mix happening, and then they'll think, okay, I'm finished dancing to this favorite song that I have just listened to. And then before they get to their table or to their seat, they get to discover that the next song that was coming in is also a favorite of theirs, and then they'll go back. Which became also a little bit of a problem now for the venue owners in that, guys, people are not buying drinks. You're keeping them on the dance floor for too long. Can you
realize that?
Because we're here to make sales.
What you just said, it's. I had this conversation with one of these young upcoming DJs, and I was like, certain DJs play boring music for a reason.
Correct.
What I'm saying, don't judge him saying that guy cannot play. No, he's under instructions because
Correct.
remember it's free entry, right? And the only source of revenue is coming from the bar.
From the bar.
So if you're going to keep people dancing the whole night, I'm not going to be able to pay you.
Indeed.
You get what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
What I'm trying to highlight is that being a DJ, like you said, you have to know how to build the night.
Correct.
You need music that people can sit and enjoy.
Yes.
And still be drinking.
Yes.
And of course, there's also the peak time.
Correct.
There's the prime
Correct.
time where
Correct.
people now need to dance.
Correct.
But back in the days, when I remember back in the days, there was good music that will make you sit and drink for half the night.
Correct.
And then take you...
Exactly. 10:30 is the ideal time for people to start getting up to dance.
Yes.
Because even at 10:30, is when other people that are passing the venue see the amount of cars and see the amount of and the type of activity that is happening in the spot, because they'll pop in there and come and check and see as to whether or not it's vibing.
There's a formula to it.
There's a formula to it.
Yeah.
And ideally, in my experience, that's the way it is. Today's DJs,
They just
top 10 banger from 7 o'clock. as soon as they have powered up and they've connected their controllers and their laptops and so forth, it's banger after banger after banger that are going to be repeated throughout the night, maybe 3 or 4 times. And then you get complaints from some of the people that are at the venue, as in, these guys got no music, they're playing the same songs. These guys got no music, they're playing the same songs. DJs of today need to learn how to pace themselves. They need to know how to build, keep the people there, keep them motivated, play the familiar favorites, but not the bangers. The bangers are when the club is banging. That's when to drop it.
And people are too drunk to keep.
Or they're tipsy. They're in an altered state of consciousness, as in, woo, I'm now ready to get it down.
Tony, tell me something, Tony. Which was one of your worst ever experiences as a DJ?
Radio or club?
Club. We'll go to radio later. Let's talk about club. I have so many. Yeah. Wait, why is Kimble laughing?
I
was the experience is coming up.
This maybe 4 years ago, I got a call from a lady in the UK, and she says to me, "Listen, I'm looking for someone to do an old school party in Dumboshava, right?" So I told her my terms and conditions. She's like, "Okay, cool. I'm sending somebody with your initial deposit, and then I'll pay you the balance on the day." Great. It was a significant amount of money. So she sent somebody over, and the next thing we are in Dumboshava.
Yeah.
And then we got to the venue. So I actually went with my girlfriend at the time. So we got there at this joint. We're setting up, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm thinking this is my kind of old school party. So this was an old school party for farm workers.
Yo.
Okay.
People who work at a farm.
Okay, I'm waiting for this.
And then I get there and I'm playing my usual,
Daniel Jones,
old school grooves and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I quickly noticed something, that nobody was dancing or moving to any of this stuff. And then a lady called me on the side and then she said to me, "So just think Baba Harare, just think your old school Msebe and all of these things." And that's what I played the whole entire night.
That was
now,
not bad
don't get me wrong.
experience.
I like playing that stuff, but it's not my kind of stuff.
Okay,
you understand?
But you were prepared. Luckily,
But I was.
that music with you.
I move with everything. I move with an extra hard drive, and I have all this music.
Okay.
But it's just not my style. So what I got from that event was that you never ever make those kinds of assumptions. I have assumed before when it worked, but in that particular situation, I didn't enjoy the party because I wasn't connected to the music.
Okay.
It was music I was playing purely because I have to play it.
You've been paid.
And you and I know that even as much as you're doing this for the people, but it also needs to be an experience for you. You also need to be connected to the music because it affects how you perform. True. I remember playing Baba Harare's album, like from first track to the last one, and they had no issue with it. And they would sing it line by line until it's finished. And repeat.
Again.
Yeah.
And it was 1 a.m. in the morning, and then because the contract said we finish at 1, and then they came and then they said, listen, we'll pay you an extra 200 to play later. So ended up finishing around 3.
Continue.
Which is good. But this was one of my worst experiences as a,
why? Because you didn't connect with the people?
Because I didn't connect with the people. So I was picture yourself in India and you're given a playlist. Sure, you know how to mix, but you have no connection to this music.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But eventually you're a DJ, so
that's what you do.
That's what you do. That's what you've been trained to do.
But generally, I enjoy a lot of my experiences. Like when I go out and I play at an old school party, it is my kind of old school which is why I stopped playing everything else, because I don't want to be competing with the piano guys.
Okay.
Or people that play anything else. I said this is my niche.
Okay.
And I'm gonna exploit it.
But
And that's what we've
you
been
do
doing.
have a piano in your catalog.
No, I do. I do. Except I may not be as connected as I should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the classics, the old stuff, of course.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting because it also says a lot about just how far we have come to get to where we are now. So even if you go to some of these so-called old school parties, you will still have people in their mid-40s and 50s asking for the amapianos and asking for the Afro beats and all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is interesting because that never used to be the case back in the day.
Yeah.
But I guess because it's in our faces all the time,
It's
people want to hear it. Yeah, people want to hear it. They are even making remixes of the old tracks
in
into
Amapiano.
Amapiano.
You've
and
heard
Afrobeats.
you've
Yes.
heard the 90s Amapiano, the 90s old school Amapiano.
I've heard
They
a
call
couple
it
of tracks.
Revisited.
Yeah,
Those are dope though.
They've done well.
I've
They've
heard a
done
couple of
very well. I love them.
a couple of
Destiny's
classics. The Tony
Child.
Braxtons, the
Yeah.
Aliyahs, and then they pianorized them. And
Crazy.
That's it's crazy
I
stuff.
love it.
No, I like it. I actually like it. I
Yeah.
actually like it because it bridges the gap.
Yeah.
Because there'll be the die-hard Amapiano groups of honeys that will be in a venue.
Honeys.
They want to hear their Amapiano songs. They want to do the dances.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are old school that want to hear old school. So the remixed old school tracks that I have got an Amapiano flavor and so forth is ideal. You accommodate both worlds. People who know the words of the songs, old school, will sing along, and the drums are nice
Of
because
course, yeah.
it has been updated. Because sonically, also, some of the old school songs are not as as hard hitting for modern dance floors. So these remixes,
They do the job.
they do the job.
Yeah,
They get the job done. My worst experience was a wedding that I had played at. And for some reason, till this day, I don't even know what was wrong because I was playing the essentials. But people complained to the point that the table closest next to me, there was an old man who was taking pieces from his plate of sadza and he was throwing it. And I had to stop and leave.
Did you get paid for it?
I got paid up front. Yeah, I got paid up front. But I mean, hey, the crowd was getting rowdy.
Shame, man.
So up to now, you have no idea.
I have no
doesn't know
idea
what,
what went wrong, unless it might have just been, it might have been personal.
Yeah.
It really might have been personal, but I just didn't bother to even try and find out and so forth.
You know, I don't think people really understand
Sadza, boss.
salsa.
Pieces of Sadza.
I don't think that people really have a real appreciation of what it takes to be a DJ, like a
competent
successful
DJ,
DJ, a
yes.
competent DJ, because it's a lot of psychology, it's a lot of
Reading the crowd.
reading
That's the psychology
people.
part,
That's
yeah.
like you really have to read each situation individually. Like
for
no
sure.
two situations are the same. You know, you
Definitely.
can play in the same club and have predominantly the same people come to the same club and still playing the same music, and
Yeah.
they'll dance to it on the one day, and the next time it's not the same. So you really have to be. You really
have
have
to
to
be
understand
in tune.
to read the
Yeah.
energy, the mood, the situation,
And that comes with experience.
and it comes with a lot of experience. It's hard to be a DJ because you're hot one moment and the next people are throwing salsa at you. You understand?
I would have eaten that salsa.
I was trying hard.
you know what they say? They give you lemons, you make lemonade.
Yeah.
I will eat that salsa.
I've been to situations where I got there and I'm looking at the crowd and I'm thinking, man, I'm finished. Like, there's no way I'm going to make all these people dance because you don't know how to make them dance. And then you just play the right song and everything else is history.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think the challenge that you might be expressing right now is that nowadays half the people in the club are already intoxicated. You get me? We've got these, they call like pathway outlets, right?
Yeah.
And these pathway outlets are open like 12 midday. So you have people already sipping on intoxicated stuff already from the afternoon. We've got places like Pennywise,
Yeah.
bootleggers. Now we've got this new outlet called Madada that's open all over the
Yeah.
Harare. So you got people go there around 12, 2 or 3, 4 in the afternoon. They're already, intoxicating themselves.
You're already vibing.
They're already vibing. So the moment they get to the club, you're already going in hard.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That could be one of the reasons why a lot of the young DJs nowadays don't read the crowd, because they didn't have that back then.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of, not we, you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys didn't have a lot of pathway outlets back then.
It was club.
It was, and people
It
used
starts popping around 8.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Right now, I'll give you an example. The top clubs in the country, you're looking at Pablo's,
Yeah.
Karma, Olympus, Evitro, Habana.
Yep.
People only get there around midnight.
Correct.
Midnight. And
Very
they're already
interesting.
lit from
Yeah.
wherever they're way.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're already lit. So when they get into the club, the DJ right now is already under pressure. Because they don't want to hear anything soft right now. We're talking
Correct.
charger.
Yeah.
So the moment they get in, it's already stratosphere. You are
Yeah, for
taking
sure.
them to the
Yeah,
moon. You
for
know what I mean?
sure,
So
for sure.
things have evolved in a slight way. But even though you've got 12, 1, 2, 3, you got like 3-4 hours to keep the crowd.
This is it.
This is it.
I have a problem with a lot of with how a lot of DJing is done in a lot of these top clubs. How is it that we hear the same playlist everywhere you go? I've had conversations about this with
Yeah.
fellow DJs, and I really try to understand, like, what is the reasoning behind having the same playlist, which is even repeated twice
Yeah.
a night, right? I do understand there's like, at any given point, there's like your top 10 hits and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't know who restricted people to only playing this. Maybe you guys can tell me.
I would
What-
say some of
why?
these instructions might probably even come from the club owners or
Why?
the managers.
What is the reasoning behind it?
Um,
With so much music
Personal-
that's been put out?
personal preference, maybe. You get what I'm saying? Or you see what you said makes a lot of sense. It's a complaint that I've also come across several times, because if you listen to China O right now, China O, MTV Bass, Trace Urban,
Yep.
Trace Africa, this is what all these young DJs are playing,
Correct.
and it's the same catalog.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
It's in high rotation.
It's in high rotation. It's the same catalog. If one song is released today, and I'm at Pablo's, I'm the Pablo's DJ, and I download that song, mind you, the Karma DJ is downloading that same song. You get me? The Evitro DJ is downloading that same song. And so it becomes, the club and the experience dies when you leave Karma at a certain time. You heard that song, and then when you walk into Pablo's, you're listening to that same song.
Yep.
And then you end up at Evitro, you're listening to the same song.
Yeah.
The experience is gone.
Yeah.
You get me? The experience is gone. So how do you fix that? I don't know how you
Nah,
fix
it's
that.
difficult.
We don't have
It's
a lot of
difficult.
clubs.
Because I mean, one
You
of
see-
one of the reasons why I'm coming out in the first place is
Yeah.
because I want to have a good time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Besides me wanting to get alcohol,
But I don't know
and-
where you're coming from. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're listening to and where you're coming from. I have my playlist set. Remember back in the days, how many clubs were in Harare? Close to 20. You guys had 20 nightclubs, because I remember Samora Machel.
Yep.
There was
Maze.
there was Maze, there was Lavanu. What was that old school club?
Turtles, not turtles.
No.
Aki's.
No, I'm talking about where Nando's is, like 4th Street.
And those,
There was an old school club where Dean used to play.
sports bar, the sports diner.
Sports diner area, but coming closer to, right next to Nando's, there used to be a club there that used to play.
I
old
remember
school.
it. Yeah,
Dean used
the name.
to play
The
there.
name is
Escaping. Yeah.
Yeah, but you remember that club? It was strictly old school.
yeah.
I think that building is cursed now because it's still empty up to now. I don't know what happened.
It's really.
It is. We could go check it out after
Yep.
this. Then right across, there was Maze,
Chibagi.
Chibage, and then there was Lavanu next to Maze. Yeah, and then there was Turtles nightclub.
Correct.
Circus.
There was Circus. There was
Yep.
Agnes.
Chocolate City.
Yes, there was Circus was the club though, right?
Was.
I remember we used to line up to go to Circus.
I used to rock Mr. C's.
Is it?
Mr. C's out in Southerton. And that was a strong spot as
Guy
well.
is so old.
No, I'm not old, I'm ancient.
Yeah, Asian.
Yeah.
Mr. Steve. So
I'm a
like,
fossil fuel.
so, so you guys had all these clubs, right? There was Platinum Lounge, I think, somewhere in Mount Pleasant.
The late
There was
London Platinum Lounge.
Yeah, Londoners was still there. Smokies. Sarah's,
Wiggles, which became.
See, I've counted over 10 nightclubs, and
yeah.
all these clubs used to pop, and I think all these clubs had a certain type of genre that they used to stick to.
Yeah.
But now we have Pablo's, we have Karma, we have Olympus.
Habana.
Sorry, you can pick up from there. Stop recording.
Okay. But that's a 64 gig card. That's weird. Okay.
It's Tony's face. It takes up more data.
I think you didn't format that one. Huh?
Did you hear what I said? I said your face takes up more data. Did you hear that?
Yeah. So I think you guys had more clubs back then, and that means there were more DJs.
Yep.
Confirm? I don't know if
Yeah.
you had more DJs, but now we've got, like I said, we've got Pablo's, you've got Karma, you've got a Vitro, you got Habana, and most of these clubs are sharing the DJs. If you've noticed.
Yeah. It's the same DJs in
A
every
DJ
other
can
joint.
play on a Friday here and play on a Saturday there. So at the end of the day, what happens is that the DJ is repeating the same music.
For sure.
So that experience is
He's
not
taking
really-
his bag.
More clubs have,
Yeah.
a lot of clubs have shut down right now in Zimbabwe. Back then, we can blame the economy if we can. Back then, it was every neighborhood had a nightclub. But now we don't have that. We've got people traveling all the way from Zengeza 3 to Pablo's.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, so that does affect your playlist to a certain extent because
Big time.
We don't have nightclubs anymore.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
It's,
If we did have
I
a lot
never
of
really
nightclubs-
look at it like that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Looking at there's is it Afropolitan? Is it somewhere in Madokera area? That's
Right.
It's got its own vibe.
Nice.
You get me? It's got its own vibe, and cats who go there, they enjoy that outdoor, the outdoor feel. So you will never find those DJs that play that side coming this side of town.
No fair.
They've got their little niche market there that
Yeah,
they're
sure,
comfortable
sure.
with. So if I'm to defend the DJs of today, is because they don't have a lot of spots to play. And everybody's trying to impress the chicks, the honeys.
The
You guys
girls.
say honeys, we say
Yeah.
chicks.
Wow, did you?
Yeah.
Indeed.
You just said that.
I
You
did.
said the honeys.
Honeys is an old word though.
The baddies.
The
No, they're not all baddies though.
baddies.
Well, they look like.
the
But
bananas.
you know what? I'm not
The
going to say.
boozers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the passion though, guys? What's the passion? I mean, it's like a drug. This thing keeps pulling you back in.
You know, I had quit DJing for many years. I think from 2012 up until maybe 2017.
When you're saying DJ, you're talking about radio,
like mixed
presenting
DJing.
or mixing. Okay.
Mixed DJing, yeah.
I think we need to highlight the two because
Yeah.
everyone thinks everyone's a DJ.
2012 up until 2017, I quit DJing. I didn't take any bookings. I wasn't playing anywhere. I sold all my gear because I just wasn't feeling
Okay.
inspired, or it was just too flooded.
Okay.
Even when you did get a gig, you couldn't charge what you wanted to charge.
Okay.
Because they're thinking there's like 20 other guys who are doing the same thing for a quarter of what you're charging. So why should I pay you?
Yeah.
So it took one event that I went to play, which was almost by accident because I wasn't even advertised to come and play. And then I went to a gig with Titch. Mataz, yeah.
Midas touch.
And then the passion came back. I was like, you know what?
You missed it.
I missed doing this,
You
And then the next thing, I got my next controller.
He saw the baddies respond and he thought, I've been missing out.
Well, thank you, Kimble.
My pleasure.
Yes. Tell us more, Tony.
Tell us more, Tony.
Wait. Don't run away from it.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't the girls. It was.
It was the girls.
No, it wasn't.
Tony.
It was.
You certainly did not respond to guys.
There's something magical that happens when you play to
The birdies.
a responsive crowd. When you play to a responsive crowd, you feed off that energy.
Yeah,
I know what you're
That's
saying.
what keeps you inspired.
Yes.
Just knowing the next bomb you're about to drop next. And they don't know this is what's about to happen, but you know, right? And then dropping it and seeing the response, and then you're like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I love doing this, because it's like this magical thing that happens when you play the right song, right?
I'm telling you.
And people do not understand the power of music to the brain, to the human brain, right? When you play a song, right? So understand why people dance to a song.
Yeah.
What they're really dancing to is a memory, right?
Yeah.
A new song couldn't do that, right? You've heard this song before, and because you associate the song with a certain memory, right?
Yeah.
And then you drop it at the right time when they are just tipsy enough.
Has somebody ever cried when you played a certain song?
Of course.
Yeah, I had that experience once. It was weird.
To have. I played at a party once, maybe 2 years ago, and there were a group of 6 girls who would not leave. So the bar shut down, and they were like, you know what, one more song. And it was one more song for the next 2 hours.
My word.
And I did it because these people were really having a good time.
I think what you just said, that's the pleasure. That's what you get as a DJ. I've experienced that where I had to lie like the thing died or something. Like, oh, my laptop just ran out of battery.
Because it's time, yeah.
It's time. But then that experience, like you said earlier on, there's a connection when you're playing a certain song or certain genre of song.
Yeah.
Like, old school dance will always get it done. Because people have so many memories.
Memories attached to it. So.
And then the pleasure I get from DJing, apart from the money, is that responsive crowd.
Yes.
I've shut down my gear and walked out of gigs before the crowd was not responsive.
Yeah.
Not that I was bad.
Yeah.
It's just that the crowd. Okay, I asked you questions about the worst experience you guys ever had. My worst experience was actually very tribal.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, it was very tribal because I had been invited to a club, and back then I used to play deep house.
Yes. I remember you used to do a lot of deep house.
I did a lot of deep house. I mean, inspiration was Black Coffee and Fresh and all those cats. I used to play a lot of deep house, and I was invited specifically to play.
I used to download a lot of your mixes back then.
Oh, is it?
By the way, if Guza and honey are old school words, you do know that cats is like ancient, all right? Moving on.
Let the man finish. Yeah. Anyway, what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, I had been engaged specifically for my house music. I was not engaged for dance or zim dance or what. And I think the crowd at that point in time were very old, not old, but they were like hardcore Shona people. Hardcore Shona people. And the owner of the club was not in Debele or anything, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, I love your house music. I just need 1 hour, 30 minutes of your set. Paid me up front. And I went to play, and...
Was this in Matebeleland?
No, it was here in Harare.
Okay.
I just don't want to mention the club, I just don't want to start anything. And I got in, the nice announcement, made me feel like a superstar and thing.
Great.
Gone on the decks.
Which you are.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, coming from the old gods, it's good. I mean, I got in hard because it was one of those I was still coming up. I mean, I got in really hard, and the honeys, the guzas, back then they used to love that music because it was new to Zimbabwe.
Okay,
house was new to Zimbabwe. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I'm in there, and this guy comes and is like, he wants to hear Oliver Mtukuzi and Thomas Mafumo and some other music, which was fine. But I was like, when I was trying to communicate with him, like, can I finish?
They pulled up Baba Harare.
Yeah, they pulled up Baba Harare on me, which I had no issues with. But I was trying to communicate with him, like, listen, the next DJ that's coming, that's what he plays. Play so I need to finish my set because this is what I was engaged to. You know what I'm saying? In that point in time, and it's like this is not Matebeleland and stuff, and he poured alcohol on the controller.
Oh wow!
And it stopped at that moment because you have to switch off the gear, turn it upside down so that the fluids don't damage the stuff. So the owner of the club comes and is like, "What's up? What's going on?" I'm like, "This guy poured alcohol." And so, like you said earlier on, there's an experience that people go through. maybe at that point in time, I played a certain song that reminded him of something that had happened to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to speak about Bulawayo and Shona people like
Right.
But he was very vocal. Like, this is not Bulawayo, Chaku team.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, yo, I'm not even Zimbabwean. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this in my head, but it was a
this is not even a whole Bulawayo
yeah,
song.
this is not about Bulawayo or Harare. I was confused at that moment because it has never happened to me before.
Okay, wow.
Play Shona music, this blah, blah, blah. I'm like, before I came in, the previous DJ was playing Shona music the whole night. I mean, fine, maybe this is peak time, you know what I'm saying? But at that moment, it really confused me. Like, it confused me a lot because now there's a lot of people like looking at me like, how far? What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's another group of people saying, no, we don't want to hear the house music and stuff like that. So, going back to what you said about memories, how songs bring out certain memories in people. It could have been a bad memory or experience that particular gentleman at that time had. You know what I'm saying? Or something happened to him that that song actually triggered that. I mean, it was really sad for me that I was a bit shocked for a while because now I was confused.
Yeah.
I had to now do my research. Like, okay, maybe when you move next time, move with all genres.
With all genres, yeah.
Have a bit of this, a bit of that.
That was unfortunate.
No, it was bad. I was really traumatized because I was really young. And I felt like, okay, how am I going to leave this place? Because it was a very rowdy place. The place got all rowdy. So it was one of those experiences for me. And I don't back down easily. I mean, physically, I don't back down. But then I was like, you know what? I'm in the wrong place. I got paid. The owner of the club is like, you know what? Let that the guy
take over.
Jump in.
Take over. And then...
Because he's also worried about his people.
You know, establishment.
Yes.
There's chairs. There's all sorts of stuff. So that was my experience that I once had. It was... I remember going home and I was sharing this with my brother. And I'm like, yo, there's some weird people out there, man.
That's right.
And it's not to say anything about you as a brand.
No.
It just means that this was not the right place for you.
No,
you know?
for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
My next point was there's some gigs that you just don't need to take.
Yeah. Which is why I have said I'm not taking any bookings if it's not old school.
Away from
if it's not what it is, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not doing it.
I walk away from gigs now. Reason being, sometimes I feel like, okay, this is not for me. I might need the money that moment. But money is always good. You know what I'm saying? But I have walked away from so many.
Yeah, likewise. I'm at a point in time now where walking away is my greatest power. Yeah, walking away is my greatest power.
But you see, when you walk away, also you become the bad guy.
No, and that's okay. Yes. That's okay because that's the perception. I'll illustrate a recent incident.
Okay.
I was with Otis Fraser at a venue in Bulawayo, and at the end of the night, the club owner decided to be a little bit sticky. And started making complaints, saying 11 people walked out when you were playing because you were playing remixes. And my response was, well, this is what I'm known for.
Yes.
I have a whole radio show. I have only one radio show, and it's called the Remix Top 30. So this is what people who come out to come and see me play expect to hear.
Exactly.
I'm not about to be playing album versions, and that's not about to pop off.
Yes.
But I appreciate your input and your output.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the arrangement at the end of the day. So... that.
What he's saying, for those, that word arrangement means no matter what you're saying, you're still going to pay me.
Yes, right. Yeah, the agreement is the agreement.
Arrangement.
Moving on. Moving forward, should you choose not to book me, I totally understand. There's other venues. This is what I do.
Yeah.
But I think these are conversations that must happen before a gig happens. I understand every situation is different, but I mean, here's a typical situation. Something that happens a lot in my space, right? So people come to you, they know you're an old school DJ.
Yeah.
That's what you do, right? And then they engage you, they pay you, and then for some reason, because there's 12 girls who walked in and they look like they're 25, so you're like, can you play Amapiano?
Exactly.
Okay, so
nothing wrong with Amapiano except it's not what I do.
The part that you don't get is that those 12 girls have someone called a sponsor. What's the name of that? What's that Shona song? It's a Zim dancehall song. It's it translates to English like
yes.
please the guy who's
Fazamting you do.
That's
one.
Okay. So when that guy steps in, it's not the girls, it's the club manager.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes club owners and managers can mess up a DJ's career.
No fair.
Fans, what's it was called? Yes. Sorry, my shoulders.
Yes.
My shoulders are a bit twisted, so I don't try
No
to.
fair. It's all good.
So when he comes in, the binga is there. He's going to throw down maybe 1,000, 1,500.
And it's like, they want to hear my
They
piano.
want to hear my piano. He won't. The manager won't even come to you. No.
And the headline for the flyer for that event is
Hello.
Old School with Kimble
Exactly.
Rogers.
Yeah. I keep reminding people to come and ask me to when they sit and I said, sorry.
So you need to
didn't
father
read the
that guy,
flyer?"
bro.
No,
not playing
eventually
any of
you
that
do
music.
it.
Yeah.
Because
I don't do it. I've
2
never
a.m.
succumbed to it.
I
Never.
keep telling them 2 a.m. Yeah, you wait for 2 a.m.
Yes,
when I
wait
step
for 2
down,
a.m.
and then the resident DJ is
Yeah.
going to take over for a bit.
You play
And then there's the girls who
You
want
play
to come
yourself.
and charge their phones by the DJ box, and yeah, that's also
That's
another.
untidy,
And then there's the guy who thinks they have the perfect next song for your set, and then he'll come in up. If you throw this one next, boom.
Yeah.
You know why I'm laughing?
Yeah.
I think we are now on the part where we are now vetting to those watching the show. This is what
Oh,
you
is this
don't
the venting
do.
section?
Yeah, this is venting section. These are things that you don't do to a DJ.
DJs hate requests. We just don't do it.
No,
My set is all set.
I think Kimble was a story for us.
No,
My set is
I'm
all
good.
set.
I'm good.
I had an incident once where this very pretty girl came, and then so this very fine specimen
This honey.
comes to the
That
DJ
inspired to
box,
take
and
him
then
to take up DJing again.
she is half tipsy, and then she comes with the iPhone, and then I also have an iPhone, and unfortunately I had my iPhone charger right there by the by one of
full
the
view.
PowerPoints, and then she says to me, my phone just switched off, and the whole reason why she wanted to do this is because they want to make selfie videos for TikTok and Instagram and all of these things.
Okay, all right.
So
Content.
I was there.
she says to me, except she was extremely rude.
Yeah.
Now you get
So I
them
said,
like that, yeah.
my charger is not working. And then I saw when she went to sit down, she was throwing hands and
And
saying whatever.
they'll give you that look like it's your
Yeah.
fault for not having
Like it's
the
your fault.
charger.
Like, why am I supposed to? How am I responsible for charging your phone? Like, this is not part of the contract. Like, I'm not here to do that.
Yeah, so what Tony is basically saying that what you guys are watching right now is that we're not charging pots.
We're not charging
DJs.
pots,
One,
and,
two,
and
it's not a request show.
Yeah.
3, don't come to us holding alcohol. Or
You
any
know,
fluids.
in the name of progression,
Yeah.
I think it's necessary for us just to probably advise the club owner and the bar staff that listen, you guys need to
Have
invest in a few more
Charging
extensions
ports. Yeah.
and charging ports and so
put
forth.
them
so
away
that-
from the DJ box.
Yeah, take it away from the DJ box. We don't need all this activity and people waiting to come and see how many bars and how much power is on their phones and so forth.
Or I have a song that you don't have on my phone.
Exactly.
So can I put it in your laptop so you can play it?
Yeah, the list is endless. The list is endless.
These are the experiences that DJs have and go through.
Yeah.
But it's all part and parcel of the culture. I assume.
And one more thing, you can't come to the DJ box and start making nyayas. This is a job. I'm at work. You don't go into the cockpit and start having small talk with the pilot when he's doing his thing. Let the man do.
Have you ever felt at some point in your life that a lot of people don't respect DJs?
Oh no, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
I have that feeling
even
sometimes.
even the professional institutions that some of us are employed at. They say they have a phrase in their mental that these are just DJs.
He's just a DJ.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you are relying on that individual to be the draw card for people to come and pay, for them to come and dance, for you to make money. But you're just going to disregard with the phrase, these are just DJs.
Yeah.
These are just DJs.
This is
You'd be
reflected
surprised
first
that
and foremost.
the entire radio station runs on DJs.
True. Not the equipment.
Not the equipment.
It's just the voice, the mindset, and the music.
Exactly.
I mean, it's okay. Let's qualify this and say people don't respect DJs in Zimbabwe because when you cross the border,
It's different.
it's a whole different ballgame.
Celebrated.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm
you are
saying?
celebrated.
I mean, look at the rate cards for all of your, not even the current ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Fresh in them.
Yeah.
Fresh, Euphonic, Kent, and all. Look at how much they get paid for a single set.
Indeed.
The Flying Fish parties.
Yes, I
You've
saw
been
that.
watching those
Yeah,
ones.
I did a movie.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
And to think that I have to do acrobatics and
And gymnastics.
somersaults to get paid $100 to come and play the gig. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
you
insane.
can't.
Yeah,
and
no.
it's also one of the reasons why a lot of the older guys, they choose not to do it anymore because it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
Indeed.
here's a kid, with a laptop and $100 controller. No offense to anybody, right? Who's charging $20? Just give me $20 and a couple of beers and get me transport to
I'm
go
good.
home. I'm
Yeah,
good.
well, you do realize sometimes the club owners also don't want to pay the value because they're just DJs. And then
Correct.
Yeah.
there's another 20 just DJs in the inbox who are always trying to play for less. They'll play for less.
Yeah, they
so
don't
they
mind.
want what you have. And at the end of the day, the disrespect in the industry grows because if Kimble Rogers is playing at Club X, I should respect that this is his spot. Kimble has a family to feed also. This is his money.
This is his money. This is
So even
this is
if
what
the
he
club
does.
owner is to approach me and I'll be like, no, I would rather talk to Kimble like, yo, Mtara is phoning, he's saying
Right.
ABC. But club DJs now, because the respect is not there.
No, it's not there.
And they want what you have.
It's not there.
So they'll take that deal. And what happens is that eventually that club or that venue just dies out.
Yeah.
You see? And then they'll start looking for you again. To
Yeah.
build it up again.
To build it up, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they'll never admit that, listen, maybe I shouldn't have called that youngster.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maybe I should have
Correct,
listened.
correct.
I've been with Kimble from day one. Let's see how it
Correct.
goes.
Let's see how it goes.
No,
Yeah.
they'll always want to find a cheaper
Yeah.
option.
To an extent, there is a science behind the logic that needs to be applied when it comes to, how the club is going to work, what kind of clientele is going to attract, and these are sometimes considerations that club owners don't have. They just want to make
So
sense.
they just want to make sense.
They
and
just wanna make
it's-
sense.
I had a very interesting conversation with Bali once, playing at a party, and then he comes to me and he says, "That looks cool." He was looking at my controller. He's like, "I want to get myself one of those things. Where can I get one?" So I told him where to get one, and then he went on Google. Right, I use Rain One.
Right.
And then he saw the price. It was
Bloody
like
expensive.
1.5.
Yeah.
1.5, and he's like, 1,500 for. And I also use turntable.
Yeah.
Right? So it's your Rain and the other two turntables. So
The
you
mixer can be
the
1,000.
gear alone, you're looking at 3K.
Yes.
At least.
Straight, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And then you want to pay somebody $20. How does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like, how does that? Because DJs, in my view, are stakeholders. They should.
I like the Kimble just get.
I think the only arrangement that works for DJs,
If the
especially
venue have
the
their
good
own
ones,
venue,
yeah,
if they have
is
their own, sorry,
have
gear.
your own venue. Negotiate for a percentage, of the sales, because that's how much work. People are here primarily because
Of the DJ.
Because of the DJ.
Yeah.
Correct,
It's
correct.
not yes, the aesthetics great, your alcohol is amazing,
Yeah,
but
the speakers are nice.
and the speakers are nice, but
So
DJs are stakeholders.
In a nutshell, right? The average Zimbabwean is not the average. Sorry, the average DJ, not the average DJ. The DJ industry in Zimbabwe is not respected.
No, it's not. Even, and the music industry, and this has been an issue for the longest time. Anybody who wants to become a singer and a musician, that pursuit is frowned upon by parents. It's frowned upon, and it's not supported with the responsible platforms that will help that become an industry.
Okay.
That can become a profession for a great many people. So it's actually up to the clueless participants in the music industry who are only at a point whereby they complain about how things are not in their favor. And they lack the skill set, they lack the knowledge, they lack the training in order to establish the platform themselves. This is something that we speak about quite often. But because of our lifestyles and the obligations that we have when it comes to the realities that is our lives, there's insufficient time, resources, and money in order to establish something like that. It's going to have to take somebody who is really serious and be like, listen, I have X amount of disposable income. I just need to find and identify the right individuals that need to be on this bus and to be able to be licensed to drive it to this destination and make it happen. And essentially, that will be money that will be thrown away because when you are building something, you're not making any money.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're not making any money. And then there's not sufficient people to do that. So, we stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, just going back to how sometimes club owners want to dictate your playlist. I mean, imagine hiring Ja Praiser and then tell him, no, can you do Thomas Mafumbo songs?
It would never happen. It would never happen.
Please, this crowd is
Thomas Mafumbo.
We need some Muzewe, please. Yeah.
On another note, who are your top 5 old school DJs?
Top 5 old school.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No.
Yeah.
Top 5 old school DJs.
From as far back as probably the 90s.
Okay, so there was one particular DJ.
Yes.
I think his name was C4.
I remember
Okay.
C4.
Yes.
C4
Yeah.
passed away.
Yes.
He did pass away.
Right.
I remember him from afternoon session.
Right.
Yeah, afternoon session.
That was at...
It was what is it? Was it Archipelago?
No, man.
Archipelago, was it?
It's the one there opposite... is it City Council?
City Council, Synergy.
Synergy, yes.
Yes.
Yes. It was Synergy, became Wiggles.
Correct.
Kept changing names.
Correct.
He was my... he was one of the first DJs.
So we're
that
now
really-
on 2, yeah?
Yeah, he was like, he caught my eye because he used to do that. And then this guy sitting next to you. This guy,
Kimble.
Kimble Rogers. This guy I call Kimble Rogers. So let me tell you when we first met.
I was double K back then. But
Yeah, so there was Vinona High School used to have, what was it called?
Shows.
Variety shows.
Yeah,
And
shows,
there was Miss Veins. What was it called?
Right.
That was very popular because back then Vinona had very beautiful girls.
What year was it?
I don't remember though. But I used to rap back then.
Oh, you were
I'm
a
not
rapper as well.
surprised, yeah.
We
Okay,
used to have these Chinese hats.
Yeah.
And the DJ that was supposed to, I was with, what's his name? MC Cheetah.
Right.
So the DJ who was supposed to play for us didn't show up, right? And he was a guest
Became
DJ
the
there.
rescue. Yeah.
And it was one of those, do you have this song, do you have that song? And he just got in, like, it looked like we rehearsed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he got in so hard. So after the show, I'm with Cheetah, I'm like, hey, who's that Bali? You know what I'm
Nice
saying?
one,
Like, he
nice
saved
one.
our show.
Yeah.
So automatically, he became...
Okay.
like, so the C4...
Okay.
this
An
thing-
impression was made. Nice one.
I'm not talking about radio personalities. I'm
No.
talking about
Like
DJs.
mixed DJs. Yeah.
DJs.
Proper mixed
Yeah.
DJs.
And then there was, what is his name? Smooth.
Smooth.
Off. Dion.
Yeah.
Yes.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
Smooth came in
We're
with
now on 4?
He came with the international feel.
Yeah.
Like the international film. So I wouldn't...
And scratching.
Yes, he was scratching. He was on vinyl. He was scratching. And then there was... I'm on... What number am I now?
4.
4.
So one more.
One more. He's not really old school. Like...
Who's that?
Storm has always been...
Okay, Storm.
But he's old school because
Nah, I don't see
Storm and Elroy won the Sprite
Yeah,
national competition back in the day.
Storm has always been like... Always been my top 5, whether old school or new school.
Yeah.
But he's he's a DJ. Like
No straight.
he wakes up and he breathes DJing. So
That's what I was
you
saying.
can
You know what? I have yet to hear him play.
He's wild.
I've never heard
Storm-
him play.
Storm
But
is-
He does, Eclipse
everybody
on
has
Fridays and Saturdays,
has glowing reports about
Oh,
his execution and his delivery.
And
Yeah.
he takes it so seriously. He's passionate about it.
Yep.
When he's playing, he's tense.
and he
You know
invests
what I
in his
mean?
craft.
I'll fool around, enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Storm, don't talk to him.
Oh, for real, boss.
Yeah, he's in the element. You know what I'm saying? So he's always going to be like in my
Ah, nice.
my top 10 old school and new
Nice.
school DJs.
Nice,
You know what I'm
nice.
saying?
Kimble, your top 5?
Is this club DJs?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a DJ I used to play with. His name is Augustin Chanetza. They used to call him DJ Stash.
Stash.
Back in the day. He had come from Marade because I was Bulawayo based. I'm Bulawayo born and I was Bulawayo based at the time. And he used to be a guest DJ. And we started off a little bit competitive because we were both mixed DJs.
Okay.
Back in the day, there weren't any mixed DJs. In fact, Kimble Rogers will credit himself as being the first mixed DJ in the country way back in the day because I used to get these cassettes from radio stations from the US, from the girlfriend's cousin that I was with at the time.
The Honeys.
WBLS, Kiss FM, and I used to listen to how those mix shows were done.
Okay.
Go and search for the vinyls at Spin Along Records back in the day.
Yeah.
Find the 12 inches and then execute it on turntables that did not have pitch controls. So
You just said something which people were like, what did he say?
So Stash, definitely, him being one of them. Club DJ wise, Brian Ship, I used to enjoy because I used to listen to his radio show, and he's the one who inspired me to get into radio. Brian Ship, he used to run Turtles, I think, at the time, or I can't remember what club it was, but that was like almost like the rave culture then back then. Another good mix DJ is Tony, Tony Friday.
I've only heard
I don't know
him
where
play-
Tony Friday picked up his skill
skills
set from,
Yeah.
but it caught on the right way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of DJs, BPM can be the same.
Yeah.
But where you introduce the record, how you mix it, for how long before you fade out the previous song and so forth. These are technical skills that some DJs are totally oblivious about.
I only started hearing him. I always knew him as a radio presenter.
Okay.
I didn't know him as a DJ on decks. I think just
yeah.
like few months ago, that's when I actually saw him play.
Otis Fraser is the other one.
Oh, I forgot to mention Otis. My
what am I
bad.
saying?
My bad. I forgot to mention Otis.
Otis being a student, he also took it to another level because
Oh
he-
man,
No, that's a mention. Special mentions to Otis.
the flow.
Otis the flow.
Yeah.
Fraser.
On my top 5, it's interesting because I have people from your list and people from his list.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Kimble,
Right.
number 1.
Thank you.
So Kimble has had a massive influence on my personal career.
Okay.
We go way back.
Where did we first meet Tony? I can't even remember. Can you remember?
We met
You guys, you got your
late night during the Kulumani days, the Coco on the Beat
Okay,
days.
Coca-Cola on the Beat with Teach Mateus.
You were friends with Brian Tamboga
Yes.
from my hood.
Okay, yes.
So you used to come to my hood
Correct.
just across the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then
That's how we met.
Are you serious?
1998, 99. 98,
Brian
99. So Kimble, Otis,
Yeah.
Smooth, Elroy, Storm.
All right.
Okay, nice.
Elroy Storm, yeah.
Elroy's still playing. Up
Yeah.
to now, he's still playing.
Yeah. So
Elroy is like a new.
Isn't he on Power?
He left Power FM.
Oh, he left.
Yeah. But Elroy is like the new version of you.
Oh,
Yes,
for real?
yes.
He does a lot of mixing.
I see.
scratching and
Okay,
so,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
So he would be number 1 for me because I personally learned skills from him. Like what he's talking about, matching BPMs and keys and all of that. But I learned from him. Like I was beat matching before.
Okay.
And then in Malawi, we found ourselves in Malawi on the same station.
Right.
Power 101 in 2007.
Correct.
2007 in Power 101. He was doing a lot
FM
of
101
clubs.
Power, yeah.
So we were like the top DJs at the time,
Ah,
both from
was.
radio and ruling the club scene.
And ruling
I was
the
doing
club.
3 clubs in a week.
Oh, wow.
He was doing 3 clubs in a week, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So
Yeah, well.
I was at Mustang Sally, Blue Elephant, and you were at that funny joint.
Yeah, there was Blue
Funny
Elephant. Blue Elephant.
Funny joint.
Cash.
The one, Kaz, it starts with a C.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember reminding you.
Yes.
But I forgot it again.
So I got to, because of the proximity, I also got to see him doing his thing like
Okay.
firsthand, and I also respect for Titch as a
Tish is not a
as
mixed DJ.
no, you should. When
Okay.
you hear
He
when you hear Titch play now,
Tish to you is what Peter Jones was to me.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Fantastic club DJ, but couldn't mix for ish. Forget about it, boss. Forget about it.
All right.
so respect for Titch as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
Tish pioneered
He
his
monetized-
contribution
yeah.
to the DJ and radio presenter culture.
it's an interesting
Has
crossover,
been
isn't it?
impactful on levels.
It's interesting.
However, because of his
Yeah.
his attitude and his mentality, He's a ghetto youth. Yeah, you can take the youth out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the youth.
Yeah, Titch, if you're watching, I'm looking for you, man. I think I'll have a chat with Titch.
No, you must.
We need to understand how he started. Also,
the crossover from radio to mixed DJing is not a very common one. Yeah. I could count in one hand DJs who successfully been on radio and also be successful, as mixed DJs.
Yeah.
Very few.
Very few.
It's not something that has happened to a lot of people, and I've been privileged to be a part of that crew.
Okay.
That you can comfortably call me to come and play the gig, and you won't worry that
Total package. Total package.
Total pack. But it's mostly thanks to him.
He's an orator. He's an executioner. And unfortunately.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, two legends in the house. I'm blessed, to have you two here to share your journey.
Much
with
appreciated.
us.
Much appreciated.
The DJ industry has evolved, like he said, from their time to our time, but it's still struggling. It's an industry which has never really been taken serious. You know what I mean? But in other countries, it's booming.
Yeah, it is.
It's lucrative. In Zimbabwe, we're still struggling.
Everywhere but here.
Yeah. It's booming everywhere else except Zim. It's just that we haven't really sat down to strike the iron properly on how to monetize the DJ industry. There's a lot of unnecessary competition also in the DJ industry. I hope this little conversation gave you a different perspective and narrative towards DJs. You know what I'm saying? We are human beings also.
Indeed.
You know how you go, I was about to end the podcast, but this is something which I need to stress out.
Right.
When you invite a DJ or you hire a DJ to a wedding, all right, this is why I don't do weddings no more.
Okay.
You realize we're always the last ones to get fed.
Yep.
I hate that.
Okay.
I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's always one honey or one auntie.
Right.
It's always the female side, like, what you got here? You know what I'm saying? It's always either the auntie, the mom.
They're the nurturer.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're the nurturer.
They're the ones, but nobody gives a damn about the DJ.
Of course not.
But like he said earlier on, the DJ is the one that keeps that wedding popping.
Indeed.
You understand?
Hello.
It's the DJ that keeps the wedding popping.
Yeah.
But you guys keep forgetting to feed us. It's okay.
Indeed.
Next
Feed the
time,
DJs. We are hungry.
Like, you guys talk to each other, sing. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Guys, you know what? Yeah, I'm just joking over there, but I'm not. But anyway, thank you guys so much for making time for me. Yeah.
Nice one, Uncle Chucky. Thank you so much indeed.
Thanks for having
We will continue this on another day, but from a different narrative.
Nice.
I think there's a lot of things that we could have covered.
Absolutely.
But we got lost a little bit.
There's a whole nother world of radio we didn't touch.
Yes.
We didn't touch. So we might look at a part two for this.
There's a whole nother world of radio.
He's 35 years in, right?
Yes.
35 years in, yeah. I'm 25
All
years
right.
in, yeah.
Still going strong.
Still
going strong, man.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing with music is it's timeless.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual component. It's not a fleshly, easily decompositional
This
element.
is your cue to end the podcast. Because he will not stop. He will not stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will invite Kimble Rogers to come by himself. We believe in the flat earth, so we will have that discussion later on. The earth is not round. We believe in the flat earth.
Indeed.
We'll discuss that later on. And
Nice.
yeah, guys, thank you very much. Tony, thank you for the warning. You know what I'm saying? That you want to talk.
Much appreciated.
Okay,
I'm
thank you
done.
very much, guys. Adios.